Hi you guys, welcome. It's been a while since I've done full-on horoscope videos. I love to do it. They're so time consuming. I've been very busy, and I still am going to be busy for a while, and so I decided to do readings that are good for 3 months. So like for a 3-month time period. I hope that's not like, I don't know, in one ear and out the other in sort of the span of 3 months. That's kind of a while, but hopefully it'll be kind of a generalization for that time, and then I'll be able to do some smaller readings too in the sort of in-between time. Go back and reference these videos, of course. Yeah, just to give you guys a little bit of sort of something. So they're for June, July, and August, and they can be for any sign in any planet, whatever resonates. I also want to say, because I am doing or the structure of these is sort of longer because they are 3 months long, and I wanted to kind of like do some extra, so they're longer. And I do have a basically they're like 4 parts. I'm giving you a general information, and then a sort of a timeline, which is just sort of a, I don't know, supplementation to the general information, and then advice and outcome for that, and then also doing an overview of your love, career, finances and stuff, and also health. And so that's what I wanted to say, was because I am sort of integrating like a health thing, just to talk about that for a minute. And this goes for everything, right? I don't really worry too much about doing readings and giving people advice, because I feel like in the end people kind of, I don't know, they end up doing what they're going to do and what they feel is right, sort of. It's just like kind of like a guidepost a little bit. So you're really looking for that familiarity. If it's not familiar, don't follow it as advice, right? And be conscious of yourself using any kind of advice, but especially things like this, as sort of like an excuse for anything. You know, and especially when it comes to your health and stuff like that, obviously, like health professionals, all that kind of stuff. But it's just kind of like a guideline. If it seems familiar, you know what I mean, you might want to go back to it and look at kind of what other information is surrounding that, right? Sort of thing. So hopefully that all makes sense. I filmed these videos. I've been traveling, so I've been filming these videos, sort of camping. That's why it's taking me so hecking long, and I'm like way behind schedule because I'm just, you know, weather and stuff like that, wind and all that. So they're kind of filmed in various locations, environments, quality. Hopefully it's not too much of a problem, the audio and stuff like that. As usual, thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think, if these were helpful, if you enjoyed them. Give me a thumbs up if you can, if you'd like to, and subscribe and all that. And yes, I hope that you enjoy. Welcome, Aries, to your reading. Let's get started just with your general energy. Okay, something is shifting for you in your, like, maybe social sphere. Either things are coming to light about kind of like the people around you, your situation, your environment, and or you are having a lot of insights about what you really want as far as those things go. Can you stop? Go ahead. Ew, 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 you're literally right next to me eating shit. Are you serious? That's disgusting. That's disgusting. That's not what I want. Okay. First of all, there's some dried up, like, elk shit next to me, which I think is fine. It's all dried up, but I don't want my dog to be eating it. That's disgusting. Okay. Anyways, speaking of ideals in your environment. So, yeah, it's just about you kind of like having all kinds of things in that regard come to light, and especially where it comes to your kind of like Aries-ness, or like your like, you know what I mean, like the sort of like embodiment of an Aries, of like wanting a certain level of like stimulation, immediacy, that kind of thing, self-control, that kind of thing, possibly control over others, anything like that. coming out of a less like accepting phase of the way that things were, and being a little bit more like upset about the imperfections that you're kind of seeing and observing now. And you're really kind of very focused on that, very kind of like having this like overarching idea of the ideal, able to criticize things, wanting to vocalize your criticisms and that kind of thing, and just being pretty like focused on that, possibly like a little bit obsessed with that. Abel, stay here. Anyways, yeah, that's what I'm seeing. I'm gonna pick these up, put down a timeline, like a vague kind of timeline, just for how this will sort of play out. And yes, I'll be right back. Okay, I moved. Here's your timeline. It's not like a month by month, but more like what the process is going to look like, right? It does look like it's starting with some introspection, kind of seeing where, taking stock of like where you are, where everyone else is, who's there for you, who's not there for you, what you want, who gives you what you want, what gives you what you want, all that kind of stuff, and really kind of going in and examining all that and pulling it apart and doing it sort of for yourself, right? By yourself, for yourself kind of thing. And then coming to a place where you're wanting to communicate about it, and voice some of those unhappinesses, concerns, and things like that, so that you can, ooh, did he sneak away? Abel! Abel! There he is. He is being a sneaker. Okay, anyways, yeah, wanting to voice some of those concerns. I'm seeing probably to someone who's close to you, or more than one person who's close to you, or something that's close to you, right? An organization, something like that, just something that's very, close to you, that you're very involved with, sort of entwined with. Yeah, and the communication might be not the smoothest, but it really is about restructuring things that aren't working, things that are maybe habitual, things that have become unhealthy in some of these situations. Abel, stop. That's so gross. It's so gross. Would you just lay down? He just has a permanent look on his face like he's in trouble, and he's limping. Lay down. Let me look at your foot. What is happening with you? This fucking just got burrs in his toes. Anyways, yeah, that's what I'm seeing. A lot of introspection, observation, and that kind of thing, and then a sort of a coming forward, and a little bit of a gracelessness in communication. Stop! They're both doing it. It's so gross. What the heck do you guys think? I'm just gonna let you sit here and eat shit in front of me? It's disgusting. They're both looking at me like, what? Anyways, I'm getting annoyed, so I'm going to pick these up. What else am I going to do? I'm getting distracted also. Yeah, I will have an outcome card in the next spread. I'm going to put down some advice and outcome, and then we'll get into love, career, and health for June, July, and August. Okay, advice. They definitely want you to be vocal, speak. Don't just kind of like hope for the best, plan for the best, see the best in people, that kind of thing. Don't be too, afraid of being critical, right? You're not being sort of anti whatever it is you're criticizing, right? By doing that is basically what it's saying. Like, if you're having insights and you're seeing things, like, communicate them, even if it's kind of like rough and rocky, like somebody needs to say it, I guess, and communicate it. And if you're having, observations and things like that, things aren't working and that kind of thing, speak up for sure. Your sort of blind spot can be a tendency maybe to want to just because you're having these insights or whatever, like better yourself sort of without sharing them with other people kind of thing, or just think yourself better or something like that, like become a little bit like high and mighty or something, you know. Don't do that. That could be kind of like maybe a trap that you could fall into once you start kind of having these insights, right? Slash being a little bit passive aggressive too. You know, not communicating things directly, but feeling like, I swear to God, there's an ant crawling on me. Feeling like, you know, you're better just because you know those things and you're going to act on them now, but you're not going to share them with other people or let other people know what you're thinking or why you're doing what you're doing or that kind of thing. So don't do that either. Your like power comes from these preferences, like really coming from a good place, right? They're not coming from this sort of high and mighty place. They just might kind of go there if you take them there rather than you know, speaking about them and using them to better things. But originally, I think that they're coming from a good place, and they're coming from an authentic place, and from a place of realizing that you have the right to get what you want, right? And in a way, to a degree, obviously, but like you as a human being, like have the right to break connections, make other connections, go and do what you want in this world, kind of thing, right? And that doesn't mean that you're necessarily doing things to other people. You're just doing things for yourself, kind of thing. And your outcome here is what I'm seeing as being that kind of that stimulation sort of that you want, that you might feel like you're missing, right? The things that make you kind of you a little bit, right? Some of that, like I don't know, a little bit of like drama and intensity and that kind of thing. But they also spit out this card. I was only picking one card, but I got the this Capricorn card with it, so it kind of looks like you can have that, and you can have the sort of stability that you maybe already have, or that you also desire. That's sort of this like other side of it, where it's like, you know, you want this, but you might kind of acquiesce to not having it in because you want to have that kind of stability and predictability and that kind of thing. And it's saying that you probably can have both. You just need to like work for it, you know, communicate about it, and make sure that you not only are in touch with your self and your wants and your needs, but also with are sharing those with other people and making sure that they're aware of them. Okay, so I'm gonna put down some cards: love, career, / finances and such, and health, and I'll be right back again. Okay, here goes the light again. Love-wise, it looks like there's kind of that. This is where some of the which I guess this makes sense, because this is relationships kind of all kinds. But that's where some of this kind of staleness could be, sort of, I guess, or this feeling like you're not being stimulated enough. They want you to be less focused on sort of doing things perfectly. Wow, there's a really symmetrical tree over there. Weird. Anyways, less focused on like doing things perfectly the way that you feel that you should do them, and being more authentic. Just be authentic, right? In that, to try to get yourself out of that, whatever that means. Whether that means doing something different, continuing to do what you're doing, just make sure that it's very much like you, for you, suited to you, and that kind of thing. Not what you think you should do, what other people want you to do, what seems like you might be good at, but do you, you know. And this sort of like focus on kind of perfection, it looks like is leading to a it seems like a fantasy land, right? Like, oh, if you just do everything right, like things could be so right, and they could be that sort of like fantastic, like dreamy sort of thing that you want. But the real the real sort of ultimate goodness is going to come in being true to yourself, which sounds hokey and predictable and stuff, but that's what they're telling me, so yeah. Okay, career-wise, career, money, finances, and that kind of thing looks positive. Looks like a lot of things could be manifesting for you, things that you've kind of wished for, dreamt of. They want you to go for things that you've dreamt of and desired and stuff like that. Don't be so focused on what other people want for you, or what you can do for other people, or again, what you might be good at. Focus on what you actually really want, and what kind of calls to you, I should say, and what sort of sticks with you and has stuck with you also, you know what I mean? And this is sort of, looks like, ooh, a mosquito, leading out of sort of like a stability that you might have now, and kind of diversifying a little bit, like maybe putting some of your energy towards other things as well, or just something that's a little bit less predictable. Also could be something communication oriented, could be something travel oriented, but something that's a little bit more stimulating, but a little bit less stable and predictable. And it may be something that you're not quite as like good at, you know what I mean? That you might have to kind of like start a little bit fresh, but that's okay. Okay, health-wise, also looks pretty positive. I would say could be sort of like, be aware of like pregnancy and that kind of thing, and children and things like that. Or just, it could be a time, freedom, it could be a time of like really nurturing yourself too, and nurturing those around you. They want you to be communicative. Don't shut off to that. Don't shut off to caring for yourself and caring for others and stuff like that, or being like stubborn with anything. Go out and seek information if you need it and if you can. Talk about things with other people. Get down to the bottom of things, and you can really learn a lot instead of being kind of like frozen out of your own sort of health situation. And this could definitely be mental health too. But it looks like a positive time for dealing with things, right? Like you have like a sort of a strong constitution right now, and therefore like strong and sort of like emotional too, like emotionally in touch, emotionally intelligent. So it's a good time to do those things that at some other times when you're feeling a little more fragile might be more difficult. So don't worry about putting up blocks about that. Just stay open, stay willing to take in new information and wanting of new information. Okay, that's it. Thank you guys for watching. I hope that this was helpful. Let me know if it was. And yes, goodbye.